Hello YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. It has been a hot second since I've done a YouTube video, and I totally apologize for that. June was an insane month for me, and I had all these plans to do all these YouTube videos and it just didn't happen. So I'm so sorry. I absolutely love YouTube, but it is definitely the most time-consuming platform and I'm newer to it. So I'm still kind of learning how to manage it along with my blog, my Instagram, now TikTok, Reels, all the things. So I'm definitely getting better at it. It's my goal for July is to have a YouTube video up every week. So don't quote me on that, but that is the goal. So I have lots of stuff that I want to talk about, but one of the things that I love to talk about and I'm super passionate about is skincare. And that's one of the reasons why I was really excited to get on YouTube, was because I have a lot to say when it comes to skin that I can't always talk about on Instagram or, Instagram stories or, even my blog, a post or something. So I feel like this is a good platform for me to kind of really dive deeper into some of the skincare things that I use all the time, things I love, things that didn't work for me. And that's kind of what today's episode is about, is 5 skincare products that just didn't really work for me. And before I kind of dive into those, I want to just kind of preface this whole kind of episode with the beauty of skincare is that there's so much out there, and things that might not have worked for me might be some of your ride or die products, and that's okay. And I think that's the beauty of skincare. But I still want to share things that don't necessarily work for me, because I don't want to always be that person that's sharing this and this and this, and it's always looks like everything works, because that's not true. Not everything always works for me. So I wanted to kind of have an episode where I really just dive into some products that were total misses for me, and I'll kind of explain why, and then I'll kind of also explain what initially attracted them to me and why I picked them up in the first place to try. So I'll get started. If you are new here, thanks for being here. If you are a returning person, thank you so much for watching. I sometimes feel like I just sit here and talk to myself, so it's always nice to see people that come back and watch. I really appreciate it, and I hope you find these videos helpful. So I'll talk about this one product, and I just realized as I looked at all the 5 products that I have sitting here, every single one of these products, the brand, this one product might have not worked, but the brand carries another product that is truly one of my favorite skincare products. So that just and that's another way to go to show that you're not gonna love every product from every brand, because a skincare product for dry skin, if you have oily skin, might just really not work for you, and that's okay. So don't ever feel like you have to have this brand loyalty with skincare and that you have to be using everything from a certain line. I actually think that that's what you should absolutely not be doing, and that variety and trying new brands is what really kind of gets a wholesome routine. Talk about these tanning drops first. The Paradise High Glow Self Tanning Drops with hyaluronic acid. So the hyaluronic acid is what initially drew me to these tanning drops, because I find that sometimes when I use the other Isle of Paradise drops, I have the dark ones, they really dry my skin out, and I find that the next day my skin is just aching and is so dry. And so they give you the best tan, but you really kind of have to be diligent about moisturizer and oils and all those things after using them, so that your skin doesn't lose all that hydration. So when I saw that they came out with these with the hyaluronic acid, which is an ingredient that kind of retains water in your skin, I was really excited about it, and I was excited to try them. And I was so adamant that this was going to be my solution and work for me that I bought this size and I bought the normal size. So this is a super size bottle, and I bought the normal size, and I cannot get behind them. I have so much product. I have 2 bottles, and I can't, it doesn't do it for me. I find that these do nothing for my skin. I will put them on with, they'll be my last step. I'll put my moisturizer on first and then try these. I've also tried it the other way, where I don't do moisturizer that night, which is not my favorite thing in the world to do, and use these the next day, and use these as a last step of my routine. And still the next day I wake up and I feel like my skin's not that tan. I love the dark ones, because you wake up and your skin is wow, I was at a beach yesterday and it looks great. So these just didn't do it for me, because they just didn't give me the color that I wanted. If you're someone that, wants a very light tan, these might be a great solution for you. But for me, they weren't giving me enough color that I was finding that it was worth it in my routine. And some days I found that it wasn't giving me color at all. It was I didn't even use them. So as much as I wanted to love these, it wasn't doing it for me. And I've even tried to use, so this big bottle was for body. So there's a face one and there's a body one that was 2 bottles. And I've tried both like, you know, using it on in my self-tanning mitt on my skin, on my body, and it still doesn't do anything. So I'm just not the biggest fan. It just really didn't do it for me. And I wasn't a big believer in this particular product, but I love the dark tanning drops, the purple ones. I have gone through like 2 bottles of those. So next is a brand that I tried at the Sephora sale because I had gotten so many questions about this brand, and it's because they're everywhere. Glow Recipe has kind of like taken off overnight, and everyone is talking about them, and they're a Korean skincare brand, and their products smell amazing. And so a lot of people have become super excited about them because, you know, they're beautiful, they're pink, they look great on your counter, they have really natural, good ingredients in them, and they smell amazing. So I was on board to give it a shot. So I ordered a little sample that had like 7 of their products in it, and I thought it was a great way to kind of try a lot of their line. And one of their products I'm absolutely in love with, it's this mask, and I'll leave a link for it. I'm gonna talk about that particular in a different video, but I love the brand. I'm a huge advocate for them, but this particular product didn't do it for me. It's the Watermelon Pink Juice Moisturizer, and why I don't like it, I'll show you, is because it comes off as like a serum, and this is the moisturizer. So I just find that it doesn't really hydrate my skin really well. It kind of just feels like it's, you know, falling off. It smells amazing. It smells like watermelon, like lip smackers from like middle school, but it just, to me, I like a moisturizer that's really thick. I have dry skin. I want my moisturizer to have like that creamy consistency, and I want it to really feel like it's on my skin. So this might be a great option if you have really oily skin, but for me, it didn't do it. It even says lotion hydration product, and this is definitely not a lotion. To me, this feels like such a serum. It doesn't even feel like have a lotion consistency. So I just couldn't get behind it as a moisturizer because in my head, it was such a serum product in my routine that I just, the consistency is I think what really threw me through this, and I just didn't find that it was hydrating enough that it was something that I wanted to keep on my counter. So we'll be getting rid of this one. It does have hyaluronic acid in it, and it has a couple other things in here. I don't have the full product since this is just a sample, but I've used enough of this that I'm confident to say that it didn't work for me. But I am a big fan of other products in this brand, and I'm excited to try more things from them. This is a product that I have been against for a long time, and I love this brand, and I just don't understand why this one product smells so bad. It smells horrible. It's this Drunk Elephant Vitamin C, and I love Drunk Elephant. I love them for a lot of reasons. Their CEO is amazing. I'm obsessed with her. I listen to every podcast she's ever been on. I listen to it. I do a ton of research on her. I think she's amazing, but this vitamin C smells nasty, and I just can't get behind it because I hate putting something on my skin that smells so gross. So here's it on my skin, and it's really pigmented, which is good. You want your vitamin C to be orange, but it just smells so bad. It doesn't do it for me. And I think that was one of the reasons that I really couldn't get behind it. And also the vitamin C that I love and is like my ride or die vitamin C is the Ole Henriksen vitamin C. And I love that vitamin C because one, it smells like oranges. It smells like you're putting on like, you know, vitamin C, I think of like coming from like a fresh orange. Like I cracked it open and I'm putting it on my face, and that's how that serum feels. And that one also is like super pigmented where I feel like it's diving deep into my pores, and I really feel the product working because it also has PHAs in it. PHAs are a great thing to add to your routine. There's AHAs, there's BHAs, there's PHAs, and they're all kind of along the same things, but basically it's this serum or an ingredient that dives deep into your pores, and it's pulling everything up. So all that bacteria and dirt, they're great for healing acne. And I love that vitamin C has a PHA, which is kind of like a lighter Miller. It's not as harsh as like an AHA or a BHA, so I like using it in the morning because it has just a small amount of PHAs in it. So that's one of the reasons why I loved my other vitamin C, is because I was kind of getting a 2-for-1 deal, where with this one, it really just had vitamin C in it. It did have a great concentrate, and like the ingredients are all solid, they're clean ingredients, but I just couldn't get behind the smell. I didn't love the consistency of it. I didn't love how it sat on my skin. It felt kind of sticky, tacky, and it wasn't doing it for me. So this is a definite no for me. I have a sample. I used to have a bigger size of it, but I actually gave it to a friend that does like it. So different floats for, or what is that saying? Different votes for different bloats. Bear with me. Yeah. Next product is a mask, and I am really picky about my masks because I don't love for them to stay on for too long. I feel like if you have a mask that stays on for like 20 minutes, it can be really drying for your skin. You know, I don't love when I wash off a mask and it feels like my skin's really dry. Like I feel like it basically like took off too much of my oils and stuff. And so I don't feel like it's doing its job. It's like over, you know, cleansing. And so I'm really kind of picky with my masks. And so this mask is from Tula, and it's the So Smooth Resurfacing and Brightening Fruit Enzyme Mask. And it has AHAs and probiotics in it. So AHAs are that ingredient that I just talked about. And I just couldn't get behind this mask. Looks like when it's on. I just felt like it wasn't doing enough. It goes on clear. And I think that where it fell in my routine, I was just kind of feeling like it acted more like a serum. I didn't feel like when a mask is on, I want it to feel like, you know, it's working. I either like feel some sort of like, you know, tingling, it's my skin's tightening, or, you know, I feel like it's like a clay-like texture where, you know, I know that it's on. But this, it honestly went on like a serum, and it wasn't super, you know, tacky or anything where I felt like it was really that mask-like consistency. And that's okay. I mean, it's definitely just could be a lighter mask, but for how I like to use masks, I just found that I was never favoring this product. And I just, after some time, realized that it was just not working for me and how I would envision a mask to work, if that makes sense. And so I haven't favored it. You know, I haven't used it in a while, and I don't think that it's the right product for me. You know, I wasn't really noticing a difference if I was using it or not using it. And I think to me, that's a big indicator, you know, if a product is something that, you know, you're favoring, if after time of using it, you're seeing a difference, you're noticing results, or, you know, noticing changes in the consistency, texture, you know, look of your skin, pigmentation. And if you're not, then, you know, why are you using it? Last one is a product I was so excited about. So I am so picky about eye creams, and I've talked about this a lot. The only eye cream I've ever used and loved is the Biosense Squalane Eye Gel Peptide Eye Cream. And I love it because you can use it for 3 days and look in the mirror and notice a physical difference in your dark circles. And I really wanted to find so that particular product doesn't have retinol in it. And I love adding retinol to my routine. I think retinol is one of the best things that you can do for your skin. And so I really wanted to find an eye cream that had retinol in it, or retinol-like alternatives. There's a lot of alternatives to retinol that aren't as harsh. So I think that was what was missing in my eye care routine. So I wanted to kind of find one, and I have bought a few that have a retinol or retinol-like alternative so that I could really be targeting my under eye area with retinol. So I found this one by Ole Henriksen. I think it's Ole Henriksen. And it's this Wrinkle Blur Baki Oil Eye Gel Cream. And so that second ingredient, that Baki oil, is the retinol alternative. And it's basically comes from like, you know, a plant root, and it has retinol-like consistencies, but it's not as powerful as retinol. So that's awesome for your eye area because retinol can be really harsh, and adding that, you know, to your eye area, you might have some sensitivities. So I loved this. I loved that it had 2 ingredients that were separated, and when you pumped it, they finally became active. I really loved that concept, and how you were adding 2 ingredients together for the first time as you were rubbing it into your eyes. I wanted to add this to my morning routine to kind of supplement with that Biosense Squalane Peptide Eye Gel at night, and have this be kind of what I used in the morning. Wasn't working for me. I've used it for probably 2 months now. And just the other night, I finally came to the realization that I haven't noticed a difference. And it's unfortunate because I love the ingredients, and I think that it's probably doing something. I'm just not noticing any difference. And with an eye cream, I'm so picky because I have natural, you know, dark circles. I have pigmentation under my eyes, and I really want that to be the focus of the target. And so this wasn't getting rid of that pigmentation, dark circles, and, you know, that puffiness that I really feel like you're using an eye cream for. And so although I do think that these ingredients are awesome to add to your eye area because of the retinol-like alternative, I think that's great for anti-aging and has so many properties of, you know, great things. That's something that's so good for your skin. I just wasn't noticing a physical difference in how my skin looked. Okay, I think that about wraps us up. That was pretty quick. Wow, proud of me. Usually I'm like so chatty when I get on YouTube, but I feel like I want to say it again. I understand that, you know, I talk about a lot of these brands a lot. A lot of the products that I talked about are brands, Miller, are brands that I either work with or, you know, really respect, or have products in my routine that are like ride or die products for me. And just because I didn't like a certain product from their particular brand doesn't mean that I'm a huge believer in them as a brand, as a company, you know, and other products that they sell. And I think the whole great thing about skincare is that there are things that work for certain people, and then there are things that, you know, might not work for you, but that doesn't mean that you're anti a certain brand. I think I hate cancel culture. I'm like so against that I never want to come off as someone that's, you know, really downplaying what a brand is doing. So although I didn't like particular products, and I talked about those today, that does not mean that I have anything against any of the brands that I mentioned. And like I said, I use a lot of their products in other parts of my routine. So if you hear my dog, she's freaking out because there's a squirrel outside and she's going ballistic. So I'm gonna go deal with that, but I will hopefully be back to YouTube later this month. Hopefully check for me next week. I have 2 things in the works that I just gotta sit down and film. I hope that this was, you know, helpful for you in any way, you know, really just evaluating how things are working in your routine, and really just paying attention, you know, to products that might be really overhyped, or, you know, someone recommended to you. And if it's not working for you, being able to recognize why, and being able to, you know, take into account certain factors or things that might be making a product, you know, not relevant for you, for your use in your routine. So really, I think just being aware of those things can help, you know, build yourself a better skincare routine. And that's what I hope you took away from this today. So I will be back. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.